It's been 10 years. A lot can happen in that time. Hello everyone, it's me, Robert, the Fallen 835, back for another review. This time, however, the review is in celebration of something. Recently, actually last Saturday, was 10 years since the first Armada episode was aired, which makes it its 10-year anniversary. So I am here today to do a special review. The review will be of the Dark Star Saber, or as you who may know Armada very well, it's called the Vorpal Saber. Now then, before I look at the toy, I'm just going to briefly go over the bio. So, it is made up of 3 minicons, called the Aerial Extermination Team. Quite a snazzy name, really. Sounds like they're going to kill you, but at the same time sort of do a stunt show in the sky. Which, they could kill you while you're watching them do a stunt show. Just think about that for a minute. There's three of them. The first one is called Jackknife. He is a Boeing Sonic cruiser, and when you'll see the toy review in a minute, I'll point out which one. And he also becomes the sword's tip, so the very top of this tip. The next person is quite a strange name for a minicon. His name is Maverick. Okay then, the only Maverick I know is Maverick Chan from Doctor Who, but that's a completely different story and I won't go into it today. He's a concept shuttle, and he forms the sword's hilt, so the bit you hold, basically. And the final one is pretty much the average sort of minicon name, is named Skull Buster. So, he likes to bust in your skull, while he's laughing and killing you at the same time, probably singing rhymes. I don't know. He's supposed to be a Concorde jet, and he becomes the middle of the blade. Now this blade, which name you want to say it by, only appeared in one Armada episode, and this was Puppet, in which it was being wielded by Nemesis Prime, who was of course created by Sideways, which of course was a part of Unicron, if you believe the cartoon. But it had a lot of weird mumbo jumbo that sort of got drugged down, but I say that Armada was still great. Now it was originally sold on its own because this is a Takara repaint of the normal Star Saber. However, I got it in the 2-pack with Wheeljack, or as they say in Japan, Rampage. That's his name in Japan apparently. And I'll show you the box in a minute. I did get it on the London meet, if you'd seen my previous video, so you already sort of know what it looks like, but I will show you again. And just before I get into the toy review, Armada did quite a lot of stuff in terms of the Transformers continuity, as well as giving us minicons, giving us the first ever Unicron toy, as well as making comic series about it from Dreamwave, which was very good. Highly recommend you go and check that out. The cartoon maybe was slightly bad in terms of drawing errors, a bit like Generation 1, but still, lots of good toys came from the line. And it also meant that in the future, others could go back and see what concepts have been made in Armada, and then copy them. For instance, Wheeljack. Just briefly going off topic here, bear with me. Wheeljack, he's a Decepticon in Armada. In Prime, he isn't a Decepticon, but he's still different to his Generation 1 self. He takes on the drift look in Prime, which I won't go into that. I may do a video about my hates of Prime, which is mostly everything. But enough of me rambling on about his bio, onto the toy. And so here they are in their vehicle forms. As you can see, each of them are jets, and I hopefully will get each of their names right. Do bear with me, I'm not good with minicon names, never have been, probably never will. But hey ho. I'll first of all look at Jackknife, who is the concept Boeing, which is this one here. Here he is, as you can see, really nice paint scheme on him. He has translucent plastic over most of the bodywork, which is same with most of these apart from Maverick. However, it's because of the release in Takara. He has some nice gold painted detail along the wings and on the jets at the back, as you can see. Below he has, yes, you can sort of see the legs in this black greyish plastic, but still it's a fairly nice jet. Yes, it wouldn't probably be able to fly because of all of the junk underneath, but still a great concept. And when you think this forms part of a sword, it's actually quite good, because many people buy this not just because of the planes, they'll buy it only for the sword. So it's an extra bonus, I would say. And now on to the thing that we all love, minicon transformations. So come to the bottom here. You have to unclip these, unclip this whole assembly like so, and be careful not to pop off any of his limbs. They are very fragile. As you can see on mine, I nearly popped that off, which would not be good, I can tell you that now. Fold the legs down like so. So they're like this. Like that. So the legs are quite stable now. Fold. What do we do next? I do apologise here. Come down to the arms, fold the arms down like so, and then finally come round to the top here and simply fold this around like so, and then get his little head, and there you have a minicon basically. You may have to work with this body, and also these legs are very, very fragile. Very fragile. You have to be so careful that you're not to break them in any way, because otherwise, if you break your minicons, you can't get your minicons back. But there he is, and I don't know if this camera is going to pick up. Again, most of his body is translucent, which I'm not a fan of, but hey, it works, I suppose. It works. He does have a nice head sculpt. There, he's got a visor for most of his head, a bit like Soundwave. He does have arm articulation, which is that. His leg articulation, his legs can move out, like so. They can bend, like so, and that's about it really. So you can't really get him in many dynamic poses, because he falls over like that. Which, meh. He's not the best minicon ever. He's not the worst. And again, this waist section does supposed to go up like so, but it's not attached to anything, so it can just fold down like so. Just flops. Which, yeah, it's a regret, but what are you going to do when they form the awesome sword? So, there is Jackknife. On to Maverick, which here, as you can see, he is a concept space shuttle. A space shuttle? Sure. Let's just call it that for now, shall we? Because honestly, it does not look anything like a space shuttle. I can see what they mean. It looks more like a stealth plane, if you ask my opinion. Again, lovely gold highlights on the cab and on the back, which that will form his head. You have purple highlights on the wings, as you can see, and the rest of it is in this dark matte black, which makes all of the highlights stand out even more. On the bottom, you can see there's the sword's hilt, which, yeah, they could have hide that, but apart from that, it's very aerodynamical, so it would fly, which is a good thing, because you need minicons to fly. So, transformation. Simply pull pull this out like so. So you have like that. You then can position the top part of the legs any way you want, and then with the little feet you just bend them out like so, the front parts, to form his little feet. So there you've made his little feet. So it should be looking kind of like a robot by now, but not sort of. Again, very loose joints, which means it's quite hard to stand. So that's so far. The next stage is that you have to take this little bit here and flip it up, and this will basically reveal his head. Hopefully it doesn't get stuck. On anything. Let's see. Let's do the arms first, they're probably easiest. The arms just simply fold out like so. I may have been doing that the wrong way. I apologise there. I sincerely apologise. I was transforming him the wrong way. Do please bear with me. My minicon transformation skills are rubbish, to say the least. So his feet should be like this, and as you can see, when you fold the back bit up like so, you can fold his little head out. And then finally for the arms, you can just position these however you want to, and then the wings can normally flip back like so. And there you have what looks to be quite a derpy looking minicon. Poor derpy minicon. Yeah, not that good. I mean, these legs are very, very flimsy. You can't really position him well. I suppose you can do the splits to make him look even more derpy, but apart from that, not much, to be honest. So, not one of the best figures in this set. I'd say the Jackknife is probably better than Maverick. However, Skullbuster, which is the guy I'm going to move on to next, is better than both of them. But, of course, you buy them as a free pack, so you get all the joys of everyone. Now then, on to Skullbuster, who has the most epic minicon name I can think of. And as you can see, he's a Concorde jet. Again, he has this clear translucent plastic for most of the cab section and the body. However, at the top here of the cab, he has this purple, which is again on Maverick, running through, and a gold tip, which is nice. This purple also runs down the side of the wings, and it's also on the tail fin. At the bottom, again, translucent clear plastic, and this black-grey plastic for the legs, which works really well. I think this is probably my favourite minicon out of all three of them, by far. For the pure reason that it just looks the best, to be honest. And yes, it does have landing gears that can fold up like so. So, for transformation, first of all, take the front cab, simply flip it up and fold it back. So you have what looks to be a crash jet. Don't worry, it will form something. Come around here, these are his legs, they're tabbed in, so simply untab them, like so. And then they're on hinges, so you just simply flip the hinges down, flip that around, spin it, and they're his legs. So if you didn't see that properly, spin it, push this down, and then flip this out so his legs are facing the right way. So you nearly have him done now, to be honest. You then simply come round. Now, in the instructions, it does prefer you to fold out the arms first, but what I like to do is fold the hands out like so. So you're sort of doing a zombie mode of Doom, and then you can flip these little arms around and bring them down to where they should be, like so. Very stiff, which I like. This is probably the stiffest out of the 3 minicons, if you pardon my expression. Final bit may be complicated, this is the bit where I feel I'm going to break it. For the pure reason that its hinge is basically, these side bits you have to push back, because they're on a running hinge, and this opens out the back bit like so. So get it all the way out, and then flip it around, and this is where you have to be very, very careful. Flip this around, flip it so it's in front to form the chest section, then simply push it back in. And there you have Skullbuster in his little minicon mode, which I really like, actually. He can't really stand well. That's the only problem out of this minicon. He can't stand all that well because mainly he has a huge backpack. But there we are. I can get him standing quite well. Out of all 3 of them, I'd say again he is the best. It's up to you which one is your personal preference, but these minicons aren't really just about their robot modes, because if they were, then they'd be pretty poor minicons. They are about their combined mode, which we will now move on to. And welcome back, and as you can see, I have put them in their vehicle modes just to make life a whole lot easier for when we're combining them to create the dreaded and evil Dark Star Saber. Well, anyway, that's what I call it. And so, how do we basically make the Star Saber? So, first of all, we'll come over to Jackknife, who basically is already in his combined mode. This is how you have to keep him. Like this. The only thing you have to do is sort of fold up the landing pad and also fold up this. And that becomes the very top part of the sword. So, put him over there to one side. Next, we'll come over to Skullbuster. And simply, you have to simply just fold up the cab, like transformation. Leave that there. And there he is. There's his done. That's it. The most complex transformation is, of course, Maverick. Who, again, that is an epic name. I don't know why they would call a minicon Maverick. Hello, I'm Maverick. Don't get me started on the voices. And all you have to do for him is, like transformation, pull the front section out, like so, and then simply split it, like so. Normally at an angle like that, I would say. Like that. So, as you can see, that is going to be the base. You can tell what's going to happen next. Simply, we take, voila, we take Skullbuster and simply plug him in. There's a hole there, there's a little bit there. Plug it in like so. So it forms nicely. And then you can just basically angle that if you wish. And there you have the first part of the Dark Star Saber. What you simply do with Jackknife is then plug Jackknife into Skullbuster by simply these 2 pegs here, which will become the arms, plug into these 2 holes there, like so. So you plug those 2 in, like so. You might want to be careful because the bottom part can come off when you're doing this, so I suggest putting these 2 bits in first and then putting them in the actual hilt of the blade. And there you have a very awesome looking Dark Star Saber. And yeah, problems. First of all, this hilt doesn't stick in properly. It's okay if you keep it simply straight up like so, but if you're trying to bend it at an angle, then you may have some problems. Like so, it's fine like this, but then you just got to be very careful, very fragile with it, and make sure it's plugged in all the way, otherwise you won't get this look. And as you can see, most Armada figures can hold this Dark Star Saber in their hands. Here you can see I have Megatron, which looks absolutely amazing. It really does. And so that pretty much finishes my review of the Star Saber, the Dark Star Saber. A great minicon pack. Not entirely just for their robot modes, which are quite a letdown, but the Star Saber itself is great. It has one problem, which is the hilt trying to connect to the main blade, but once you can get around that, it is great to have. It's a great accessory for any Armada figure, including Megatron. You should get at least one version of this mold. There has been Energon versions, there's been of course the normal Star Saber, but in my opinion the colours of the Dark Star Saber with the purple and the gold just fits so well, especially as I am more of a Decepticon fan than an Autobot fan. But that's entirely up to your personal opinion. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this review. Please comment below, rate, subscribe if you like the video, all that stuff. This will be part 1 of my celebration of Armada's 10 years. Part 2 will see me reviewing, well, you can probably guess. But until then, it's goodbye from me. Hope you stay safe. And remember, keep loving Transformers. Bye all.